Hi, welcome to FUT-IQ. I'm Diego. We have a semifinal for the World Cup. France versus Spain. It's going to be in a spectacular event where we have, if not the best up three or front three, one of the best, Mbappe, Michael Olise, and obviously the Ballon d'Or, Ousmane Dembele, who could make history. He could win it back-to-back, man, and also, World Cup trophy, UCL trophy, League One trophy, insane. This guy, I remember back in the day growing up, like 2017, 2016, like for my brother and playing Ultimate Team and like the superstar cards or whatever, and like even just like hearing like my friends when we were younger, like, oh, this guy is like he's in Barca, whatever, he hasn't really gotten so much playing time, and like like my friends would be like, oh, that were some that were Barca fans, they'd be like, oh, this guy's so good, he's really super talented. There's a lot of like and obviously with the memes when he signed and he couldn't even juggle the ball, at Barca, but look at him now, and also he had I don't even have to say it, you guys already know, he had a big time struggle in Barca, and now at PSG he's playing like an absolute baller. But enough said, I don't need to say more. You guys already know about all this. But Spain won 2-1. They didn't look very convincing, and they haven't been looking very convincing throughout the whole World Cup. Let's be very, very, very honest, guys. Spain need to pick it up. They tied against Capo Verde. Yes, first time they get conceded. Yes, defensively they're pretty good. So is France. France, honestly, one thing, like, I know I've never played pro, but it's one thing like having a good like back line where you don't even feel uncomfortable or you feel so secure where you're like, all right, like we can like dribble, we can not necessarily mess around, but we can be creative, we can build something comfortably because we know we have a back line that's going to defend us properly. They're going to fight for the ball, recover the ball quickly as possible, and return back to offense, right? And I see that with France, and yes, Spain does that, but they're still kind of like, I don't know if it's like the chemistry, I don't know if it's the tension, pressure, I don't know, the atmosphere, I don't know what it is, but yeah, there are some spectacular moments, and yeah, there's some more individual situations where Lamine Yamal looks spectacular and looks great, sometimes almost, sometimes, even some wall balls that they do, but not consistently. There should be more creativity, I think, in my opinion, at least, so they can, look a lot better. Yeah, they have some certain, good special occasions, but Belgium should have done more. They scored a good goal, and I'm just surprised they made it to this distance throughout the World Cup. They weren't playing very well. They didn't even seem very convincing to get to the quarterfinals, in my opinion. They had a struggle against Senegal, and in the round of 32, I believe that's who they faced, and they had a struggle with them, and it was very interesting to see them go this far. I mean, I guess they put a U.S. that was very weak for whatever reason. Maybe it was the ball gun situation and whatnot. But with that being said, France won very convincing, 2-0. Morocco looked very defensive. They played like Paraguay, but couldn't. They weren't dirty. But they couldn't create. They couldn't do anything. Hakimi, yes, he's very good defensively, but there wasn't that attacking version of him that we usually see. And as well with even Brahim Diaz didn't look very convincing. They didn't have many occasions, but enough being said with them. They're out. No more World Cup for them, and I'm sure they'll be back in the next 4 years, especially if the World Cup is in their home country. It's going to be very, very good. They're going to be looking great in the next 4 years, like I was saying, and especially they play in their home field advantage like we saw for Mexico, and they could get even further, maybe to a final there. I would not be surprised, especially, I don't know if there'll be a final there in their home country, but, even playing like quarterfinal semis, if that's the occasion, if that's the situation, which might be, they're going to, they're going to have an advantage there, and they can maybe make some history and be the first African nation to win a World Cup, honestly, with the talent they have. Even the U20s, I remember watching the World Cup, they looked really well, and they won that World Cup for the U20s, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, we have quarterfinals tomorrow. Norway, England, very, very an exciting game, very physical game in my opinion, where Norway, you know, even with their great striker Holland, they have a great team. Honestly, I'm surprised. I mean, obviously Martin Odegaard, freaking Bob, and what's his name? He scored a banger. I'm not even gonna be able to remember right now. What's his name? Gonza, I think that's his name, if I'm not mistaken. Had a great goal against, was it Brazil? Who was it with? No, it wasn't Brazil. Against Ivory Coast, I think. And Nunsa, my bad, guys. Nunsa, great player. He scored a great goal. They have a good team, man. They have a good keeper, and they can definitely compete against England. England had a complicated game against Mexico in the World Cup. Hurts to say as a Mexican, you know, unlucky in a sense, but at the same time, we made a lot of mistakes, and it's understandable why we are out. England, on the other hand, made less mistakes, and they haven't been so convincing throughout the World Cup, but they do have the individual aspect. Who Jude Bellingham can, you know, make a difference, make a goal, make a play and assist, and give a ball to Harry Kane in the head and bury it in. We already know that Harry Kane is, if not the best, one of the best strikers, and we're gonna see two of the best strikers in the world face each other in Miami. If I was in Miami, oh boy, I would definitely buy a ticket if I lived there. Too bad they're too expensive, and that's one of the problems that we've had throughout the World Cup is the ticket prices. Even before the World Cup started, the ticket prices were insane. I don't even know right now. I haven't even checked because I haven't even tried. But anyways, also the refereeing has been somewhat questionable. VAR has been somewhat questionable, and throughout the whole World Cup, when not even putting Argentina in the situation, which the federation is being investigated. Very interesting there, but I think there's somewhat some of a bias towards Argentina. I talked about in my other video that you guys can watch, but I still see them going through against Switzerland. Switzerland have been better, a lot better throughout, you know, going throughout the bracket and a knockout stages where, you know, they beat Colombia in PKs, they tie, and well, they look somewhat better than they did throughout the group phase with Switzerland, with Qatar, and with Canada, and with Bosnia. Was it Bosnia? I don't even remember, but they look really, really kind of inconsistent. And now they turned up. I mean, they beat Colombia in PKs. I mean, they tied throughout the whole game. These games are going to be tight, and we're going to see hopefully some great football. I do see Norway losing, like I said in my other video, but if there's an upset, it's this game, Norway-England. But I think Argentina are going through regardless, maybe with the help of the referees or not. I think they still go through. But it's going to be a great semifinal either way. But comment down below, who do you guys think will win tomorrow, or who wins the semifinals and who goes to the final? I read them down below in the comments. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on all social media platforms, share, and we'll see you guys next time.